Before I begin this video, I want to take a moment to discuss a serious topic. As you all know, during Monday night's game between Buffalo and Cincinnati, Buffalo safety DAMAR HAMLIN suffered a terrifying cardiac arrest on the field. As of the recording of this video, HAMLIN is listed in critical condition. HAMLIN runs a charity called the Chasing M's Foundation, which is a toy drive for children in need. I have posted a link to the charity in the bio of this video. Please consider donating. It's the very least we can do. Dallas versus Tennessee. No Ryan Tannehill, no Derrick Henry, no chance for the Titans, right? Well, they were facing the Dallas Cowboys after all, the most overrated sports franchise since 1996. Initially, things went as everybody expected. Dallas jumped out to a 10-0 lead thanks to an Ewok Elliott touchdown run and a field goal, but the Cowboys started to cowboy, turning the ball over on 3 straight possessions, including 2 Dakota Fanning interceptions late in the first half to keep the Josh Dobbs-led Titans in the game with a 10-6 score at halftime. Unfortunately, the Cowboys offense woke up in the second half as Dak found Dalton Schultz to go up 17-6, but Dobbs used his rocket science brain to throw a touchdown to Robert Woods to make it 17-13 going into the fourth. However, Dak led the most clutch drive of his 7-year career, not a compliment, ending with another touchdown pass to Schultz to go up 24-13. Tennessee would get 4 more cracks, no offense to Lamar Odom with the ball, but failed to produce any points, as Dallas added a field goal to reach the final score of 27-13. New Orleans versus Philadelphia. Maybe all the morons who said Jalen Hurts was easily replaceable will shut the hell up for a bit now. I'm sorry, I'm just so pissed about this game that I headbutted a wall and probably have a concussion, but I'm gonna finish this fucking video because the people need this content and I'm a hero. I think I just lost control of my bowels. Anyway, New Orleans dominated the time of possession in the first half as Philly's defense couldn't get them off the field, while Gardner Minshew did jack shit offensively. This put Philly in a 13-0 deficit at halftime. They finally got on the board with a field goal, and the defense stepped up in the second half, allowing 0 points. But outside of a 78-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, Minshew was horrific. He had 3 drives down 13-10 in the fourth to either tie or take the lead. The first ended with a punt. The second ended with a failed quarterback sneak on 4th and 1 that Hurts certainly would have gotten. And finally, on the third chance, Minshew threw a touchdown, only it was for the other team, to make it 20-10 New Orleans with 5 minutes left. Philly got one more drive that sputtered out before the Saints ran out the clock. Now Philly has a suddenly important game versus the New Jersey Giants next week, and if Hurts still can't play, then his injury is a lot more serious than Philly has let on. If Philly loses next week, they'll face Tom Brady's devil magic on the road in the wildcard round for the 2nd straight season. I'm throwing up. This was a textbook game for both of these teams. Jared Goff and the rest of the Motor City Kitties continued their offensive dominance at home, while Justin Fields made a couple breathtaking athletic plays to distract people from the fact that he sucks. Fields showed off his athletic talent in the first quarter, throwing a touchdown to go up 7-0, but Goff was ready all day to answer, throwing a touchdown to tie it at 7. A 60-yard run by Fields set up a field goal to give Chicago a 10-7 lead after 1, but that was all the offense Chicago had for the day, as they scored 0 points on their last 10 drives. But Detroit wasn't done scoring, no offense to LSU's players in hotel rooms on SEC Championship weekend. Detroit ripped off 34 unanswered points to win the game in dominant fashion. Justin Fields looked promising for a few weeks there in the middle of the season before reverting back to being dog shit the last couple games. Next year will be year 3 for him, which is the year Josh Allen broke out. If Fields is still struggling next year, Chicago needs to move on. Detroit now heads to Lambeau Field for their final game, and Goff's home road splits this season are historically lopsided. I'll be stunned if they beat Green Bay, but then again, the only thing I've ever beaten is my wiener. Jacksonville versus Houston. Houston is playing for the first pick in the draft, and Jacksonville was playing for, well, nothing actually, as the outcome of this game had no bearing on if they'd win the AFC South or not. That comes next week in a win-and-in game versus the Titans. So this game was meaningless, just like all my years of therapy and doctors. Last year, it would have been inconceivable to think of the Jaguars sleepwalking their way to a win against any team, but that's what we saw here. Again, it was against the worst team in the league, but it still shows massive improvement. Trevor Lawrence only played the first half in this laughably easy 31-3 win. I hope that human draft Davis Mills soaks up this entire week, because it's the last time he'll play as a full-fledged starter before he transitions into a career backup / spot starter role like Charlie Batch did with the Steelers for years. Only he'll be backing up Bryce Young instead of legendary humanitarian Ben Roethlisberger. Atlanta versus Arizona. Another useless game where both teams had nothing to play for. Should I even bother reviewing it? Of course I will, because I love all of you. Not in a sexual away because that would be weird, and I'm not sure my hole could take all of you on at the same time. But you know what? Never mind. The second quarter saw all the touchdowns in this game, 2 rushing touchdowns by Atlanta and a touchdown pass by new Arizona quarterback David Blow my wife's back out. Atlanta took a 14-13 halftime lead, and both teams agreed the only way to settle this shitty game was by kicking field goals the entire second half. Arizona took a 16-14 lead on a field goal. Some time passed. Then Atlanta took a 17-16 lead on a field goal with 9:36 left. But Arizona said suck my balls and kicked another go-ahead field goal to go up 19-17 with 5 minutes left. Then young Desmond Ridder led a clutch time-consuming drive to set up young Wakeu's game-winning field goal to win the game 20-19. Pretty disgusting of Ridder to ruin J.J. Watt's second-to-last game ever. It shows zero class, and I hope Atlanta looks for a new quarterback in the draft this year. New Jersey Giants versus Indianapolis. Things started out fine enough for the Colts. They went up 3-0 after Nick Foles used his hammer to pound the ball through the uprights, but then it went very bad very quickly starting in the second quarter. Dan Jones threw back-to-back touchdowns to go up 14-3, but then the breaking point happened. When dropping back to pass, Foles tripped over his gigantic schlong, causing an errant throw that was picked six by Landon Collins to put New Jersey up 21-3. Then on Indy's next drive, Foles got sacked by New Jersey rookie number 5 and sustained a rib injury that knocked him out of the game, but still didn't stop number 5 from doing snow angels next to Foles' convulsing body on the field. New Jersey then kicked a field goal to go up 24-3 at halftime and eventually extended that to 31-3 when sneaky athlete Dan Jones had the hardest working touchdown run by a quarterback ever. RC Cole of Baker Mayfield, aka Sam Ehlinger, then threw a touchdown pass to make it 31-10 New Jersey entering the fourth, but that tricky, sneaky grinder of an athlete Jones ran for another touchdown to make it 38-10 New Jersey and clinched the franchise's first playoff appearance since Jeffrey Epstein died. They're not beating the Eagles next week though, I hope. Cleveland versus Washington. With their season on the line, Ron Rivera decided to put his faith into Carson Wentz, and he was rewarded with, well, yeah. The first half was completely forgettable as Wentz threw multiple interceptions and Groper Cleveland could only muster 3 points off of a short field, but then Wentz led a magical 21-play touchdown drive, capped off by a quarterback sneak touchdown to put Washington up 7-3 at halftime. Then Mr. Groper finally started to resemble his Houston days on the field, finding Amari Cooper for a 46-yard score to go up 10-7, but even though Washington begged Watson to stop, he refused to take no for an answer and scored again, throwing another touchdown to put Cleveland up 17-7 after 3. Washington got a field goal to make it 17-10 early in the fourth, but Watson was not to be denied, leading Cleveland on another touchdown drive with a third touchdown pass, second of the day to Cooper, to put Cleveland up 24-10 with 5 minutes left. Wentz would get 2 more drives to do something, but he shit all over himself to eliminate Washington from the playoffs. It's nice to see he's still a Philadelphia Eagle at heart. Kansas City versus Denver. For the first time since O.J. Simpson's car chase 28 years ago, a white Bronco leaving dominated the headlines. KC tried to remain in the hunt for the 1 seed, but Sierra's husband and the rest of the Denver Ponies surprisingly showed a lot of fight for a team that just fired its head coach. Anyway, about the game. Denver punted, then KC responded with a touchdown run to go up 6-0, and it looked like a KC route was on. But not so fast, motherfucker. A Denver field goal made it 6-3, then Patrick Mahomes turned into Nathan Peterman, throwing an end zone interception. Denver then scored off of it thanks to a Wilson touchdown run to go up 10-6. But Mahomes, being who he is, immediately answered with a touchdown pass to put KC back up 13-10 at halftime. The third quarter was dominated by defense outside of one Denver possession where Wilson found Albert O on a deep ball to put Denver up 17-13 entering the fourth. Mahomes then got KC back up 20-17 with another touchdown pass. Then Wilson got picked, setting up a short field for Mahomes, who almost immediately threw his third touchdown pass of the day to go up 10 with 12:36 left. But Denver was not done, as Wilson led a long touchdown drive capped off by his second touchdown run of the day to make it 27-24 with 6:14 left. Denver forced a punt to give Wilson a chance to win or tie the game, but he was sacked on fourth down. Then Mahomes converted a third down to seal the game and the second NFL MVP of his young Hall of Fame career. New England versus Miami. Miami came into this game looking to stop their 4-game losing streak against safe driver Mac Jones and sociopathic MILF hunter Bill Belichick. But Tua got another concussion, so Teddy Hamburger Helper Gloves was that quarterback. New England's offense looked sharp early as Jones fired a touchdown to go up 7-0, but Teddy led Miami on a long touchdown drive capped off by a 2022 Husband of the Year award winner Tyreek Hill touchdown run. Then the game became filled with punts and missed field goals until Teddy threw a touchdown to put Miami up 14-7 with 9 minutes left in the third. New England cut it to 14-10 after a field goal, but thanks to a rousing speech by Belichick, where he said the players would never see their families again if they lost this game, Kyle Duggar picked off Teddy and returned it 39 yards for a touchdown to put the Patriots up 16-14. Bridgewater Bridgewater left the game with a bruised ego, replaced by Skylar Thompson, who immediately threw an interception. After trading punts, New England went up 23-14 with 4:37 left in the game when Jones found backup quarterback Jacoby Myers for a score. Thompson would lead Miami on a touchdown drive against a soft defense to make it 23-21 with a minute left, but the onside kick failed and the Patriots won, setting up a win-and-in scenario for them on the road next week versus Buffalo. Let's just say I have my doubts. As for Miami, well, at least Mike McDaniel has a quirky personality, right? Tampa versus Carolina. It took Tom Brady 16 tries, but he finally played a great game this season. Now he makes the playoffs with a historically dominant 8-8 record, and the world is worse off because of it. This was the first time all season the Bucs won a game scoring more than 21 points. If not for their defense, they'd be 5-11 or 4-12. Tampa had a 9-yard field goal drive late in the first half, set up by a Carolina fumble, of course, and at no point did it ever feel like Carolina was going to win. Not when they were up 14-0, or even when they were up 21-10 early in the fourth, because you knew the typical fourth quarter Brady bullshit would happen, and it did almost instantly, with Brady having the cleanest pocket imaginable on a touchdown throw to a comically wide open Mike Evans in single coverage for the second time in the game to make it 21-16 with 14 minutes left. You won't believe this, but Carolina punted, then Brady led an actual impressive go-ahead touchdown drive with a dime touchdown to Evans and a 2-point conversion to put Tampa up 24-21 with 7 minutes left. And you're not going to believe this, but Carolina would then get 2 drives down 3 with a chance to tie or take the lead, and they didn't score in either of them. On the first one, they punted, but they got the ball back after a Brady tantrum on third down, and then Brady willed his defense to strip sack Darnold on the first play of the second drive, setting up Tampa with a heroic 6-yard touchdown drive, capped off by a Brady touchdown run to go up 30-21 with 2 minutes left. Carolina got a field goal to make it 30-24 with a minute left, but Brady's luck was not done. Only a Brady team could see a potentially game-losing botched snap on a punt turn into a positive, as instead of setting up Carolina in great position to potentially win it deep in Tampa territory, thanks to a great play by Tampa punter Jake Kamara, Carolina ended up deep in their own territory with less time remaining than if it had just been a normal punt the first time. There was no Miami miracle to be had this time, and Tampa won 30-24. I am sick of Tom Brady. I am sick of watching him play. I am sick of his checkdowns. The defenses refuse to cover for some reason, and I am sick of him getting carried by his defense and his devil magic and ruining what should be a fun postseason in a league full of exciting young talented quarterbacks. But he will inevitably find a way to fuck it all up for everybody once again, like he always has. The league will be infinitely better once he and his insufferable fan base fuck off. Congrats, Saints, Rams, and Cardinals. You let this happen. Seattle versus the Jets. Brandy Love doppelganger Pete Carroll taking on his former team. You forgot he coached the Jets in '94, didn't you? Don't lie. Was a sight to see. Well, not really. The Jets season was hanging in the balance, and they laid a giant fucking turd. Simply put, this was a butt-whooping through and through by a Seattle team that needed to win to stay alive in the playoff race. Geno Smith found Colby Parkinson, no offense to Michael J. Fox, for a touchdown to go up 7-0 early before expanding it to a 10-0 lead. The Jets kicked a field goal, but Geno threw another touchdown to make it 17-3 early in the second. New York added another field goal to make it 17-6, but failed to score any points on their last 9 drives. Mike White, not to be racist, looked compromised and played terrible, as one would expect from a Jets quarterback. Seattle really didn't do much after going up 17-3 either, scoring just 6 points on their last 8 drives, but it was enough to win 23-6. Shout out to LeBron, and keep hope alive for the postseason. LA Chargers versus LA Rams. The battle for LA that nobody gives a shit about. The Rams played like a team that had nothing to play for, and the Chargers played like a team fighting for better playoff seeding. The Rams had a 3-0 lead after one, thanks to a Gay. Matt Gay, that is. Then it was the Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler show. Eckler reeled off a 10-yard touchdown run and then a 72-yard touchdown run on back-to-back drives to give the batteries a 14-3 lead. The Rams responded with a touchdown of their own to make it 14-10, but the Chargers added a field goal to go up 7 at halftime. In the second half, Herbert said, "That's great you got your stats, Austin, but it's my turn now, bitch," as he fired 2 touchdown passes to make it 31-10 early in the fourth. The Rams had 4 second-half drives and failed to score on any of them, dropping to 11 losses, officially making them the worst defending champion in NFL history. Green Bay versus Minnesota. Even though Green Bay came into the game on a 3-game winning streak, and even though Aaron Rodgers almost never loses at home in the regular season, and even though primetime Kirk Cousins is a real thing, I still did not see this game playing out the way it did. In fact, when the Vikings blocked a Packers punt to set themselves up at Green Bay's 1-yard line to start the game, I thought this really might be the end of the Rodgers era. But Minnesota only got a field goal out of it and then immediately gave up a 105-yard kickoff return return touchdown. Then Kirk Cousins threw a pick six to make it 14-3 Green Bay. Then Rodgers led a long field goal drive to make it 17-3. Cousins threw another interception to set up a short field for Rodgers, who found the muscular and sexy Robert Tonyan for a touchdown to make it 24-3 Green Bay. Minnesota missed a field goal, then just for shits and giggles, Mason Crosby nailed a 56-yard field goal as time expired in the first half to make it 27-3 Green Bay. The third quarter saw Cousins get strip sacked, which the Packers then turned into another touchdown to make it 34-3 early in the fourth. Cousins then got picked off for a third time, and once again Rodgers took advantage of the short field, running in for a score to make it 41-3 Green Bay with 9 minutes left. Cousins then threw a super clutch 47-yard touchdown to cut the deficit to 31 points, but it was too late. Not even a heroic touchdown pass by Nick Mullins to KJ Osborne to cut the lead to 41-17 with 21 seconds left was enough for the Vikings to complete their comeback. San Francisco versus Las Vegas. After the Raiders sent Derek Carr home for the rest of the season for wearing too much eyeliner, not much was expected out of young Jarrett Stidham, especially against the best defense in the league in San Francisco. But I'll be damned, Stidham versus Purdy actually turned out to be the game of the week. Stidham found former responsible drug user Darren Waller to go up 7-0, but Brock Purdy answered back with a touchdown of his own. Vegas went up 10-7 after one, but Purdy found Greg Kittle to put San Fran up 14-10 early in the second. But then Stidham fired back-to-back touchdown passes to future Hall of Fame wide receiver Davante Adams to put Vegas up 24-14 early in the third. There's no way Vegas would blow a 10-point lead, right? Well, the sexy Christian McCaffrey used his scrappy daughter dating powers to break off a 14-yard touchdown run to make it 24-21 Vegas entering the fourth. Up 3 with the ball, Stidham got greedy and threw an interception. San Fran reeled off back-to-back field goals to go up 27-24. Then Vegas kicked a field goal. Then San Fran retook the lead 34-27 on a Jordan Mason touchdown run with 2 minutes left. Stidham found Adams on an insane 45-yard catch, and the drive ended with part-time drunk driver Josh Jacobs running in a game-tying touchdown to make it 34-all with 1:11 left. Purdy then calmly led San Fran into field goal range, but he didn't do enough to will Robbie Gould to make the kick, so the game went into overtime. Stidham finally regressed, throwing a brutal interception that set up San Fran and Purdy with a Bradian -2-yard game-winning drive as Gould kicked a 23-yard field goal to win 37-34. In one career start, Stidham already has half as many losses, leading his offense to 34 more points as Tom Brady does in 379 career starts. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. The demographic that loves this shitty Steelers-Ravens rivalry are the same demographic that hasn't watched the NBA quote-unquote since Jordan retired because they quote-unquote don't play defense. Does anybody else hear dog whistles? Well, I gotta be honest, I don't really feel like deep diving into this shit-filled overrated rivalry game. Tyler Huntley is fucking terrible, and I can't believe the Ravens can't find a better backup quarterback than him. He literally almost cost them a playoff spot for the second straight year. Nonetheless, Baltimore took a 13-3 lead early in the second half, and that was it for them offensively. Pittsburgh slowly clawed its way back with a couple boring field goals before finally, for all that is holy, Kenny Kittenmittens led a legitimately impressive drive featuring a couple insane throws, including the game winner to Najee Harris with 56 seconds left to go up 16-13. Najee finally had his first good game in 2 years in the league, and it was enough to keep Mike Tomlin's non-losing season streak alive for at least another week. Oh yeah, and the game of course ended with a Huntley interception because, as I said, he sucks. If it's one thing Pittsburgh is gonna do, it's make every game boring as shit. It's honestly impressive. Due to the DAMAR Hamlin incident, the Cincinnati Bengals-Buffalo Bills game will not be reviewed this week because there is no timetable for whether or not the game will be played. Now that all the games have been reviewed this week, it's time for puppy time. And considering that this week has gotten off to a pretty terrible start, I think we could all use some good in our lives. Please check out these adorable puppies, and I hope it makes you feel better.